Quentin.
And I'm Michael.
And this is Prospects for Success podcast, where we bring you our thoughts on Prospect League baseball.
News, notes, opinions, and our favorite happenings.
Thanks for joining us for episode 3.
All right, so now we're a few games into the season now, and last night was the first meeting of the season between the Miners and the Paints. We speculated that it would probably either be 1-0 or it would be 12-11, because that's just kind of how it goes with these two teams. And we were pretty close. It ended up being 12-7. But the way we got there was kind of interesting. The Paints jumped out to a 7-0 lead. We all kind of thought it was in the bag, but those of us who've been there for a lot of these knew you hang around till the end. The Miners come storming back after being no hit for like the first, 5 innings? Yeah, no hits through the first 5 innings. And then they come storming back. They tie the game at 7, but then the bullpen really, they couldn't hold it. And so the Paints come back, score 5 more, end up winning the game 12-7. Your player to watch this year, Nathan Riddle, started that game. What'd you think?
He did pretty good for his first start. Started off strong.
Yeah, it's rough when you run into you're out there starting and you got a good you're having a good start, but then the other your team just isn't getting any hits at all. And so you feel like you have to maybe pitch a little better. I looked up the stats on this one. They've got him down as he threw 89 pitches in this start, 52 strikes. That's pretty good. Across the entire time he was out there, he ended up getting charged with 5 runs, 4 earned. But this game was 2-0 in the 5th inning. And so I don't know what more he could have done to try to help his team. And it's just the great pitching was there at the beginning, and then sometimes your next pitcher comes in, and if they don't have it that day, games can really kind of get out of hand quickly. It happened again last night, something that seems like it happens at VA Memorial Stadium a lot. The Miners had more runs than they had hits. They finished the game with 7 runs and 6 hits. There were 8 errors in the game, so not between the two teams. So not exactly a well-played game on defense, but do you kind of chalk that up to it's early in the season?
Well, yeah, it's early in the season. The two teams still have a lot of work to do, and new players. So new players are gonna try to still get to know how each one of them plays, and you still got guys coming back from their college tournaments, and then you guys got people leaving, and yeah, they still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Speaking of these new players, we want to give a quick shout out to a West Virginia's shortstop yesterday, Alex Christie. He went 1 for 4. He had a double and an RBI in the game. He's out of Hanover College, playing for the West Virginia Miners this year. We actually we got to meet his family yesterday. That came from up near Indianapolis to come see him at the stadium at Chillicothe today. And so great folks, just great people. We got to stop and talk to them for a little bit. So nice that they got to come out and see Alex play even though he's playing for the Miners. Nice that they got to come out and see him play yesterday. And this shapes up if the rest of the season goes anything like last night's game, this year's set of games between the Miners and Paints are just going to be epic as always.
Their season going good so far. They only played 2 games out of 3. Their Miners are back home today playing against Chillicothe. Great field, once I said before. Just great guys, great staff.
Okay, so you've mentioned the stadium in Beckley, Linda K. Epling Stadium, which I agree. It's an absolutely beautiful place for a baseball field. I think when God created that mountain, he had the idea that there was going to be a baseball field there, because it is just a fabulous place to go watch a game. But I also wanted to throw in a little bit today. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the best ballpark food. that we've seen. You get some interesting things around. Now, VA Memorial Stadium likes to say that they have the best Coney dogs in baseball.
Cap.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a discussion to be had there about whether they're the best Coney dogs in baseball or not. I'll give you a tip if you're coming to VA Memorial Stadium. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, try them. The cheese is cheese sauce, like they use for the nachos. The Coney sauce is the same stuff that they use for sloppy joes and to put on the super nachos. Which, by the way, we tried the super nachos yesterday. Very, very good. Get the peppers on the side. But pretty good stuff yesterday. So the brat with sauerkraut at VA Memorial Stadium is absolutely A+. That is great stuff. We wanted to take a little mention too about what are some of the best or the most unusual. What's the best or the most unusual ballpark food that we've gotten? We've been to a few Prospect League stadiums. So what is kind of the best or the most unusual thing that you've gotten food wise that you'd maybe looking forward to having again at a ballpark?
The best thing I had would probably be at Linda Catholic Stadium. They have frozen grapes there. It's really nice to have those on a hot summer day watching baseball, and you just really enjoy the game with those too.
Okay, I'm totally with you on this. When I saw first time we were there and I saw frozen grapes, I was like, okay, what in the world is this? We got to try this. It's literally just a plastic cup of like green and red seedless grapes. They've been washed, but they don't dry them. They leave them wet and put them in a cup and just put them in the freezer so that they get these really nice ice crystals on the outside of them. And you're right, they are fabulous on a hot day. I still gotta say, I gotta say that when it's done right, the brat with kraut at VA Memorial Stadium is just fantastic because they grill them right there. You can watch them cooking them. The brat with kraut at VA Memorial is pretty top notch. Although I got to give a shout out to Linda K. Epling Stadium for one more thing. That is the only stadium I've ever been to where you could get a Chick-fil-A sandwich. I mean, you can literally walk up to the concession window and get a Chick-fil-A sandwich, except, of course, if the game is on Sunday, because Chick-fil-A isn't open, they're not making sandwiches on Sunday. So those are pretty cool too. But now, okay, so since we've mentioned that, what if you could come up? Okay, if you had your own Prospect League team and you're coming up with something, you want to come up with something new as a concession item for the concession stand. What are you coming up with?
I mean, any ballpark food is good. I mean, that's a really hard decision to make there. Right now, I would say nothing just because any ballpark food is really good.
It's, I mean, yeah, ballpark food, it's got this mystique about it. I mean, you're going to pay a little more for it, but so what? It's you're at the ballpark, and that's part of the thing. You're gonna spend more for a bag of peanuts than you would at the grocery store. I like the fact that I see. It seems like a lot of stadiums are moving away from more stuff that's deep fried. I'm cool with that. I don't mind that at all. And I like the fact that they're going to more stuff that may be like kind of cooler, lighter fare. Because if it's 100 degrees out, you don't necessarily want all of your food to be super hot that you're going to be eating. We kind of came up with an idea for something else that you could add to the fruit, though, that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, you could put like the frozen grapes on like a stick, and you can have other fruit with it, like pineapples, bananas, strawberries, anything.
I think that's a brilliant idea. I really do. I mean, it's even for me, and I'm definitely not the the bougie type or anything on this, but I think that's a fabulous idea to get those bamboo skewers, do the grapes, do some sliced up fruit like that, and you could put that into the fridge or the freezer, get that good and cold. That would be fabulous on a hot day. I think you could sell a lot of those. a fruit option at the ballpark, and I think it makes good sense as a baseball food. I mean, come on, it's a summertime sport, and that is great summertime food. I think that's a wonderful idea. All right, one more thing that we wanted to say before we wrap this episode up this season, with it being the Paint's first couple home games. Want to make mention of our friend Ralph Miller, who sadly passed away after the end of last season, before this season could get started. He was the unofficial mayor of VA Stadium. There could be 1,000 people in that stadium, and he knew the first name of most of those people because he would walk around and talk to them during a lot of the game. We're gonna miss seeing Ralph. We're gonna miss hearing Ralph at all of those games. So best wishes to the rest of his friends and to his family. Still for this season, we're going to miss him, but there'll be a spot missing for where we were on the third base side at VA Memorial Stadium this year because of Ralph. We're going to miss Ralph, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, Ralph, you didn't know what to say to him, but he still knew how to start a conversation with anybody at the stadium.
Absolutely, yeah. You didn't have to say much around Ralph. He would fill the conversation up pretty well on his own. All right, thanks for joining us. We will see you again soon. We'll see you at the ballpark.